Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me. My name is John Denton and I'm here to talk to you about colour grading today. Colour grading, adding different tones into an image to give it a bit more life, to give it a bit more oomph, to give it a bit more interest than straight out of camera. It's an essential tool and it's one that I use in just about all my images to add a bit more interest into the shadows and a bit more interest into the highlights and all those mid-tones in between. So let's crack on and I'll talk through a technique that I use for grading my images. Here we see a picture of Carwyn taken at the Arc Studio in Birmingham, my home studio, and I can't wait to get back there. I'm broadcasting this from my home in deepest Cambridgeshire, but can't wait to get back into Birmingham and start shooting. By the way, if you hear any strange noises in the background, I've got my dog lying on my feet and Bungle's just been out for his one walk for the day and he's snoring like a gun. So it's not a heckle, it's not a judgment on the quality of the video, it's just a big lazy Rottweiler. So let's go back to Carrie. Here she is leaning against a wall, lights coming in from this side, casting a beautiful shadow down here, and the colours are as out of camera. A whitish wall, beautiful golden skin tones, the colours on the tattoo there coming through, and nice black outfit that she's wearing, a bit of smoke hanging in the air. How can we put different colours in here? How can we put colours specifically into the shadows? Well, if you saw the black and white retouching video that I did, you'll know that I'm a big fan of using gradient maps, and this is my essential tool for colour grading. Let me show you. Go into your adjustments panel, take the last icon in the list and it says gradient map, and if I click on here then it brings up a white to black gradient. Gives you a negative. It's put white into my shadows, blacks into the highlights, but I don't want that. So let me click on here and edit that gradient. And here I'm going to click on the little box. I'm going to choose a colour, and for this one I'm going to go to one of my favourite gradients, a purple. Oh, in the deep shadows. Wow, look at that. Purple in the deep shadows through to yellow in the highlights. And this is what I call my rhubarb and custard gradient. Use it a lot because, as you can see, it gives a great effect to the image. Well, it doesn't look that good. If I change the opacity, it still doesn't look that good. What I need to do is change the way that it interacts with that layer underneath it. And to do that, we come onto our good old friend blending modes, and the most versatile blending mode of all, soft light or overlay. Soft light is my favourite. See how now it's changed the way it interacts with that underlying layer? That's on normal. This is soft light, and I can just reduce the opacity now until that starts to look pretty. See how it's really warmed up the shadows now, warmed up the highlights, and given a much more interesting look to the whole image. We've colour graded it because we don't just add into the shadows, we don't just add into the highlights, it covers all those midtones in between with a variation on the colour, and that's what this gradient is telling us. We can edit that even more. How about we put a teal, an orange colour grade on there? Very popular, seen a lot in movies. So let's choose a nice teal colour for the shadows. Let's bring the highlights through to a bit more orange. So if I drag this slider down, I'll get a bit more orange in those highlights now. Look at that. I love the way it gives you a live preview. So as you're choosing these colours, you're seeing exactly the way it's going to function on your image. We can change that blending mode again. Let's have a look at overlay. Let's have a look at hard light, vivid light. All of these blending modes will do something slightly different. If you want to know exactly how they interact with the underlying layer, then there's lots of detail online. I don't propose to go into that, a bit too techie for me, and to be honest I don't understand it myself. I just like what I like. When I see something that looks good, that's what I'll go for. So there we've got a nice teal to orange colour grading applied across the whole tonality of the image, and it's just done with that gradient map and soft light. You can use any gradient for this process. If you look at some of the stock image gradients that are included in Photoshop, then you can have a play around with those and see if there's any of those that you like. Wow, all sorts of options, all sorts of options. If you decide to make a new one and you want to keep it, then you'll see that your latest editions are listed down here. If I decide I want to go from a red in the shadows to blue in the highlights, I can now click New, and that saves it into this list here, so I can come back to it and use it time and time again. So you're building up your own stock of favourites, your own studio look, and even that red to blue, which looks outrageous at full whack, can give an interesting effect when reduced down to about 6%, just warming up your image. Have a play around. One extra little thing I'll talk to you about colour gradients is, if I edit that one, let's just go back to our teal and orange. We've got a few different variations we can do. Here we can reverse it, so you can go from teal to orange or orange to teal. Okay, if you want that to be a little bit more heavily applied, let's boost your opacity a little there. Now let's go back into the gradient editor, and if I click here, oops, you'll see it brings up a midpoint marker. Okay, click on there with your left mouse button, drag it, and you'll see it changes the point at which the orange turns to blue. So if you want a lot more orange in your image and less blue, take the midpoint that way. If you want more blue and less orange in your imagery, take the marker that way. You've got a lot of control here within the gradient editor as to how you want that gradient to apply to your picture. And you'll see the subtle changes happening to the picture as you change that midpoint around. Really, really useful tool, folks. I can't stress it broadly enough how wonderful gradient maps are. I absolutely adore them. I hope you're going to play with them. I hope you're going to enjoy this video. Take it to heart. If you do get some great images as a result, then please share them with me. The details to contact me are at the bottom of the screen here. Contact us on social media. I look forward to seeing your pictures, your comments, and any general feedback. If there's anything you'd like to see featured in future videos, feel free to give us a call. Thanks to Carrie for this shoot. You can find her on Instagram, carwen.seren. Give her a follow, give me a follow, and let's keep in touch throughout this whole Corona episode. Okay, love and light, over and out. See you soon. Bye now.